Hello, I'm Carly Cartwright, a news anchor at the Social Talks. Thousands of the most crucial groups on Reddit, called subreddits, went private June 12th to 14th in protest of Reddit's API changes. API stands for Application Programming Interface, and an API allows apps to send data back and forth to one another without actually accessing the app itself. APIs are a type of software that allows two computer programs to communicate. Other examples could be Tesla's API that allows it to make virtual software upgrades, or Amazon's API, which is what makes programs like Honey able to track its price changes. Essentially, Reddit since 2008 has allowed third-party apps to access its data, which includes a lot of niche information written by sometimes highly qualified or invested users for free. Third-party apps like Apollo, Sync, and Reddit is Fun extract Reddit's data, the questions and answers, and essentially recreate Reddit in a more digestible form. Because for some, the app is hard to navigate, or a secondary app is needed for a number of reasons. Reddit revised their data API in developer terms April 18th to state that they will begin charging for access, to be effective June 19th. Admittedly, the CEO allowed little time for third-party app developers to account for the change, and prompted most to close their doors. And the closing of these third-party apps would be the catalyst of the boycott. Most problems created by the API privatization were addressed in the CEO, Steve Huffman's initial statement, made in the form of course, a Reddit Ask Me Anything post. Apps that are accessibility-focused and non-commercial, and some mod, tools, and bots can remain with access to Reddit's API for free. But this doesn't clear up issues for moderators, who already spend much time doing their work for free, that use custom bots, third-party apps, PushShift, and more, for which it is still unclear when or if there will be access. Either way, users see the change and added restriction to the already strict moderator role as interrupting workflow. Reddit moderators and transcribers are loyal contributors to the site, something it relies on more than other social medias, which have a larger number of casual users as opposed to a small number of dedicated ones. Losing these not only consumers, but free collaborators could be worse than the loss that viewing Reddit posts from third-party apps generates. Ultimately, Reddit is fighting for its own users so dedicated they would go out of their way to get secondary apps to view the same content. Whether it's worth it will be known in the following months, as many subreddits claim they will keep their doors closed if no change occurs. Despite somewhat acknowledging accessibility, moderators and users of the subreddit r/blind believe, after extensive conversation with the site owners themselves, that their concerns are still not being properly addressed. Reddit also made an out-of-place change on top of the other restrictions, stating, effective July 5th, 2023, we will limit access to mature content via our data API as part of an ongoing effort to provide guardrails to how explicit content and communities on Reddit are discovered and viewed. This stands out because it exemplifies the problem Reddit users have with the company. Reddit is hyper-aware of the value of its data, accused of being greedy at that for pricing its API so high in the first place. For comparison, Imgur offers 50 million requests, for content that is, at $166, while Reddit is pricing 50 million requests at $12,000. This is still cheaper than Twitter, which also recently made changes to its API policy and is charging $42,000 for every 50 million tweets. It at least appears that Reddit is claiming its ownership over the information on its site, which is true but could be interpreted as a disrespect to the users that upload and monitor it. More than that, harboring mature content on its site claims a sort of special ownership over sexual content that it doesn't necessarily have. To use the wording providing guardrails to how explicit content and communities are discovered and viewed could suggest both a much-needed control over the spread of sensitive images and a controversial authority over them and their commercialization. Reddit continues to attempt to separate itself from less beloved counterparts, message boards like lolcow and Kiwi Farms that aged out because they couldn't provide the sleekness a future of tech promised. Reddit wants it known that it supports the nerds, but not the socially condemned. They thank the moderators, but eventually, slowly or quickly, will scorn them in favor of a larger market, like social medias before them, notably Tumblr. To have made it so long, through revenge and child porn scandals and out, with largely free and untrained moderation, should be considered a business feat alone. Through this, Reddit has amassed a library of unique information, but it has also shown that it could take it away just as quickly. Information is evidently valuable, but new technology has shown us that owning it is most important, or future access may not necessarily be granted. The lesson to take away from Reddit is to be more cautious with our passive labor. Answering someone's question on Reddit may seem nice, but consider the value you hold and give away for free when doing so. At least Reddit is aware of this value. Please continue tuning into Social Talks for more technology news and updates on current events.